Hello, everyone. Welcome to our leadership development, our very first lunch hour that we're going to share together. I'm so excited and definitely looking forward to any thoughts and feelings you have at the end or in the middle as we break into a new subject. So thank you all for coming. I'm so excited. The first thing I wanted to talk to you about, I have two main lessons. We're going to end with administrative stuff. So the first thing that I want to talk to you about that I have noticed is a real sticking point for people, and definitely had been for me, was embracing where you are today. Okay, embracing where that is. I think that so many of us, every coaching call that I'm on, or every leader that I talk to, there's some kind of regret about what could have happened, what could have been done, what you wished would have been. But there is something so beautiful in self-acceptance that gives ultimate freedom. Okay, so while we can look at the facts, right? What happened in April? Here are the facts, right? This is the fact. When we pour over it and believe that by focusing on it, something can change, we're really misguided. We can't change literally anything about what has happened in the past. If that day has passed, we are only going to gain power by moving forward in the future. And so, and it really boils down to, accepting your journey starts with accepting yourself and giving yourself that radical love that we so freely give to other people. Acceptance of yourself is first, and then it is the acceptance of your circumstances. I see this a lot in people who've been with me a long time. I wanted to be farther. I wanted to be this. I wanted to earn the shopping spree. I wanted to, we get it. Yes, set goals, crush them, all the things. But it comes down to, are we using that circumstance that didn't happen as a way to punish ourselves, disqualify ourselves, or focus and distract ourselves from where we can go? And that's really where your mind management gets to come in. So when you accept yourself and give yourself that radical compassion, okay, let's say that, you had something happen to you in April, something was going on, right? Imagine your friend telling you something that happened to them. And you come to them with this radical compassion, and you're like, of course you felt that way. Anybody would have likely reacted like that. I can totally see why that was hard for you to move through that. But when we're not willing to do that same thing for ourselves, we are in this cycle of self-punishment that literally does nothing for where we're going. It only keeps us spinning backwards in a spiral of shame. Okay. And I feel it's important to talk about this just so that you can start to open your minds as to how this has shown up in your businesses and in your lives, because it has. Anybody could tell me, oh, this has never happened to me, and you're not having self-awareness. It has happened to everyone. This is very normal. It's very common to believe that if we just we're just focused on it, we're in regret mode. So when we accept what happened, we are able to fully move forward. When we accept to say, I wasn't thinking properly. I wasn't thinking the right things. I was really focused on drama. I was really focused on who wasn't ready. I was really focused on, something going on with my child, and just accepting that and say, that was the fact. That was the fact. And it doesn't mean anything about our quality of leadership. It doesn't mean anything about how valid we are to move forward in this very moment. It doesn't mean anything. It's just, that's what happened. Not that's what happened and I could be better. That's what happened. And if I was stronger, it wouldn't happen. That's what happened. If I was a better leader, I would have never let that distract me. Not that. Just that's what happened. Because what we know is that we're brought to this fully qualified. And the person who validates us and gives us our worth is the Lord. And so we can't add to it. We can't subtract from it. It is in us from the moment that we are born, and that should set you free of feeling like anything about you needs to change when looking at circumstances and what happened. So if we fight these things, you guys, and I'm going to get real with you here, I'm adjusting myself in my seat. When we fight, right, and we look back and we're like, if I would have just done this, and I knew I just, and you just get into these thoughts, right, that go over and over in your mind. Not only do you know it's not serving you, but when you don't just let yourself accept it and say, oh my God, I'm so disappointed that I did that. That was my circumstance. And I'm just so disappointed that that's how it went. That's okay. It's okay to be disappointed. And then sometimes we stick a cherry on top and we're like, I shouldn't be disappointed. I shouldn't feel sad. I shouldn't feel this. You guys, it's just a recipe for a constant spiral. It's a recipe for a constant spiral. So we end up instead of serving our future and where we can go and what we can change. Because remember, anything behind us, we can't do anything about it. We can, I encourage you always to think about the facts about it. Think about the facts, not the feelings, not I suck. That's not a fact. Okay. The fact is the points weren't where you wanted them to be. The fact is we didn't get the enrollments. The fact is you didn't show up to leadership conversation the way that you could. Okay. Disconnecting it fully from emotion. Okay. But when we choose to serve, right, that other stuff, we just wind up distracted more in confusion instead of being like, that's what happened. And I'm committed to being different today. I'm committed to believing something new about myself because I didn't like how I felt. I'm more miserable today than I was on this date in April. And so I'm not going to repeat that. That's something that we can change. And so always keeping that in mind. We cannot rewrite history, but we can accept it with love and compassion. And that really is the only way through, letting yourself feel disappointed. And some of us don't like to feel negative things. I was one of those people. I was like, I can't be upset. Strong people don't have emotions. Like, I'm stronger than that. Like, oh my God, like, ugh, gross. And then do you know when it would come out? When I was by myself on a Friday night, my kids finally went to bed and I had a glass of wine, and all of a sudden, every single feeling that I could have moderately felt all the way along, I feel it like a ton of bricks. It stops me. The month goes to shed. Have you been there? Have you been there? Right. So when we can accept what happened with love and compassion, the way that we would extend that love and compassion to a child, because really what we all are children. Here, we're always that healing child. When we can accept that with love and compassion, we can feel disappointed and it not mean anything about the leader that we are. We can be disappointed in our performance, but it not mean anything about where we're going to go and how fast we're going to go there. We can do that. And when you are allowing yourself to feel those emotions and say, well, ooh, I hate acknowledging this. I had to walk myself through this several times. Oh, I hate it. I hate being mad. Do you sometimes get mad at people and you're just like, no, I can't be mad because they have a lot going on. I cannot be mad. I can't be mad at them. You sure can. You sure can. And I can tell you from experience of someone who really dealt with that very thing of believing that I couldn't feel something because I had to be compassionate about someone else's circumstances in my life. I want to let you know that you can still have your feelings and extend compassion, but you first have to extend it to yourself. You are the very most important person that needs the love and the compassion, because all the good works that are ahead for you are happening. They come from you. And we don't have to work on all the other people first, right? We get to work on us first and giving ourselves compassion first. So you get to choose your beliefs. You guys hear me say it all the time. You get to choose your beliefs. Maybe you didn't love something that happened last month, last week, yesterday. You didn't love how you handled something with your kids. You did not love it, but you get to choose to believe that you're qualified right now to be different. You get to choose that. And the perfect example of this, and I want to explain this to you. I got to explain this to my daughter, Eliza, at this Mother's Day lunch. We always end up sitting at the bar wherever we go because we never make reservations. So it's kind of now we're like, it's like a tradition. It's kind of fun. So we were sitting at the bar at PF Chang's and we were talking and she was like, I was explaining to her religion, right? How some religion can believe in Jesus Christ and other religions don't. And I said, but while we don't believe in Buddha, we can acknowledge Buddha, that Buddha is a thing that exists that other people, you know what I mean? Right? Same thing goes for, Jesus Christ. There are people who might acknowledge Jesus Christ, but don't believe in him because we get to choose what we believe in every single day. We choose. And Christians on here, we're like, I can show you in the Bible and this and this. I know, baby, I know, I'm with you. But what I'm saying is other people choose to believe something completely differently and they're right for themselves. Okay. So whatever you're believing today, if it doesn't jive with where you're going, I want you to get off this call and I want you to choose to believe something that's going to serve you because you get my cat. Sorry. You get to choose what to believe every day. So while we maybe acknowledge, okay, that something in someone else, we may not believe that thing in that other person. So I want you to acknowledge, for example, maybe you're disorganized, right? But you don't believe that you have to stay disorganized. You believe that you can improve it, but you definitely don't believe it disqualifies you. So I want you to take that with you today because really your thoughts change everything, but really allowing that compassion and those emotions to be felt, that there isn't shame attached to feeling them because you're going to feel them anyway. I don't know if you noticed. You're either going to feel them after a glass of wine when you're by yourself in a bubble bath, or you're going to feel them gently, moderately all the time. And I practiced this. I was dealing with some things with my mom. I practiced this. I got to practice being mad and still having compassion. But I gave myself compassion first. And I felt it. And I was like, oh, I hate this, but I know I have to do it. And so I did it. And so I want you to know what I'm suggesting isn't easy, but it is work that is worth it for you. So now we're going to shift into the administrative lesson. So if you've got, I don't know if you were always taking notes, but definitely this is a time that you would want to do that so you can create a roadmap for exactly what I'm telling you to do. Okay, so this is my opinion of what you need to do from the very beginning of the month. As a leader, the way that you need to organize your thought process from the beginning. Okay, so find a way immediately to prioritize understanding the incentives and the specials. Immediately digest them, collaborate, figure out what you're thinking about them. Really do your best to understand them. It is the most important thing. And I'm going to tell you why in a minute. Okay. You've got to figure out how to rope your team in. You guys, we are in a leadership development MLM. Yeah, we sling vitamins, we sling probiotics, but the way that this business works is by raising up leaders. Okay. So it is the most important for you to start focusing on raising your leadership lid. And a way that you can do that is by putting those behaviors first, right? Understanding them for yourself and then figuring out how you're going to incorporate this or share this with your team. I have examples, so don't worry about I'm not going to send you into the ocean with no anchor here. Okay. So, but I want you to just get real about it. Yeah, we sell things. Okay. We do. I think it's great if you're a top recruiter, your organization brings in a ton. The way that we know how we advance our business is by a point system that has everything to do with bodies ordering. That's just the reality. I told you guys I'm going to talk to you like we're going for it. There's no sugarcoat here. Okay. So while it is so awesome that you have a high PV, I'm not going to tell you not to do that. Okay. The very first thing that you have to do if you want to move your business up and operate as a jewel is figure out what these specials are, figure out how to get your team excited, start taking notes, and then rope them in immediately. And I've got ideas on how you can do that, but that is what you need to do. And you'll have to spin several plates all the time. Maybe you're sitting here going, Sadie, I'm bad at spinning several plates. Get good at it. Okay. Because that's how it's going to work. Start spinning them, baby, because that's the way that it's going to work. And you are good enough to do it. You wouldn't be sitting on this call or in this moment if you are not capable and qualified of all the things I'm telling you. So I want you to start. We're going to first spin the plate of understanding how we're going to incorporate this for our team. Maybe you're the owner, wrong word. Maybe you are the leader of a larger team and you're like, what kind of incentives? I know the Jules and I get together and we're like, all right, what kind of incentives are we going to do? How are we moving and shaking? What's going on? What are we going to get people excited with? We're putting a lot of things together. And this is a training so that you can start to flex that muscle, so that you start to raise that leadership lid of becoming that level that's needed to run a larger size team. You're qualified in your skill, but you need practice in how to organize your time. So learning how to do that. Now, maybe you're like, I'm a high recruiter. Oh my God, I love like recruiting high. Do that, but do that second. Okay. Get your team moving first. Very, very important. Obviously, we're not going to, if somebody reaches out and they want product, we're not going to say, oh, just a second, I'm doing this first thing on my list. No, you're going to sign them up. You're going to do the things. You're going to do the onboarding. You're going to do the things. But you are, and I love that you're a high recruiter. I'm one. I haven't been the last 2 months to be completely complete disclosure, but typically that is very important to me. And that is a skill that I possess. We all possess different skills. I do that later. I get my leaders together. Okay. I figure out how we're going to incorporate this. Maybe you're not a high recruiter. Okay. So if you're a high recruiter, you're going to have more bodies to duplicate with, to lead, to deepen your organization with. If you're not a high recruiter, we have to really learn how to flex this muscle in a quality way so that you can still move your business forward like people who don't have a lot of first level people to work with. This is important no matter what is going on with you. Okay. Understand them, digest them, we'll figure out how to share them. And then connecting with your team right away. This is something that as you start doing this, they will become accustomed to it. Okay. So first day, first day of the month, first day, you're reaching out to people. You're like, hey baby, what are we doing? Like, I'm so excited. Did you hear? You're also tagging them into things, using the team pages, using the posts in order to kind of break the ice. Maybe you tag them in the post of, a post that I do or something like that. Okay. Or wherever the post is, maybe you're the one posting in a team page, whatever. Then you go to them privately and say, hey, I know you're at work. I know you got the kids, right? You know them. Okay. But as you are, tagging them in something, you guys, did you notice like adding them, tagging them, messaging them, we're doing the same things even when they're on our team. We're prospecting them the same way. Okay. So you're tagging them in something, then you're messaging them right away. Oh my gosh, babe, did you see this that's going on from corporate? Did you see that you get a free bag of all these new VIPs get a free bag of active? I wanted you to see it because I know you love active and I want us to be able to get excited about all of the people that you're going to sponsor as VIP customers being able to get that. You love it. I know you want to get that for free in the hands of as many people as possible. So let's get excited. And do you have some time in the next day or so for us to connect for 15 minutes so I can understand what excites you and what financially we can help you achieve for this month and who we can connect with? Like, do you guys see what I'm saying? Okay, but it starts with you understanding the specials. Okay, so this is going to be specific training on I kind of touched base on this last night. I did not give the details I'm about to give, but this month, obviously we know we can maintain, we can rank up, or we can re-rank. Okay. And the way that you're going to do this impactfully and in an organized fashion is you're going to go into your downline report. Okay. Right now, you can go into you don't have to do it right now. I mean, you don't have to adjust the report at this time. You go just into your current downline report and you click on achieved rank twice. So your top people are going to be there, right? If I clicked on achieved rank twice, I'm going to have 4 people at the top, right? Or emerald, right? And then it goes senior, like it organizes. All you're going to do to create this list is look at that achieved rank and look at the paid as rank. So when there is a discrepancy, we can re-rank them. When it's the same, we can maintain them and create a milestone goal for them. Okay. Or of course, rank them up, right? Depending on where they were, all that stuff. Okay. Very important way for you to start looking at this virtual office analytically. This is, you guys, I am no expert in all this stuff. I just want to let you know that I got into the weeds and just stared at this thing for a long time. That's how I learned. I do not possess specific skills. I'm just analytical through doing it several times. So if you're feeling discouraged at all right now, practice, show up to it, practice. Okay. So then the next report I want you, so obviously you're going to be able to deal with your people, right? Maybe you're new and you're like, oh, I don't know, it's just, there's not anything, right? People haven't converted over. They haven't, that's where then if you don't have anybody that is in a situation where we're dealing with rank maintenance, rank up time, or re-rank, you get to show up to duplicating in an excited fashion. You're going to be asking them, will you throw up a post for me? You guys know this happened to you. Probably if you don't have people that are building at this time, you recently had someone doing this for you. So just know that is an indicator that you get to rank a lot of people up this month. Okay. Okay. So the next report I'm going to teach you about, and this is where we're going to close because I want to obviously always respect everyone's time. I won't be giving these disclaimers each time, but this is our first maiden voyage. So the second report you're going to go to is that you're going to go down into your points and rank up. And in the center there's some white area and you can toggle down to April 2022. Okay. So you're going to toggle down to April 2022, and then you're going to get the opportunity to click load data. So everything from last month is there. You should see that, right? All those people are qualified, like a lot of people, whatever. Then what you're going to do is you're going to go all the way over to the right to team points, and you're going to click it twice. Your highest point earner will be at the top. Okay. And this is an important report. Okay. This shows you where your income comes from. You might look at that report and see some names and you're like, or ooh, whatever, right? We have all these emotions about people. Okay. And that's totally normal. Totally normal. We're going to talk about believing on purpose another time, but believing about people on purpose another time, I should say. But when you sort that report, you see a good indicator of where you can put emphasis. Maybe you're like, Sadie, I got somebody that's not really doing the business and it's kind of a thing. Yeah, but her team's performing. His team is performing. Okay. He or she might not be doing jack, but their team might be. Okay. So that's an indicator where you get to put emphasis that's already growing for you. Corporate talks to us about having 4 stable table legs. And if you're on Jody's team, she talks about this quite a bit. And so I just want to echo that this is a way for you to understand what's going well and continue to pour emphasis into it. Okay. Especially if there is somebody that's not active, but they do have an organization that is somewhat thriving or moving on some level. You get the chance to love people in other levels and help them feel that connection. Because obviously, if that person's not moving and grooving, they're not receiving the love that is our culture standard. So that's where you get to choose how you're going to show up to some of these people. Okay. So that's what I would do. I would really start looking at this, especially, I sort by team points all the time. Like that's really, especially in rank up months, I'm constantly doing that because I'm looking at who's making moves. Okay. And as your team grows, I bet you'll be doing the same thing. And it's a very easy way to see what's going on without having to click on their name, go into their, view team, all that kind of thing. Okay. It's right there for you. You also in that report can look at when their subscription is going to process. Okay. We want all of our leaders, okay, to be getting their order in by the 15th, if at all possible. Okay. But for sure. Now, let's say that there's a leader that's like, doesn't have the funds, or maybe that's, you're like, oh my gosh, I had bajillion months on the sprints and I bought a bunch of stuff. I'm like, I can't buy, then you get to show up, or that person gets to show up and we get to help them get some retail customers. But doing that by the 15th is really, really important. You want those people to be qualified. Because it does impact you. We're not talking about compression, but we'll probably do that next week. I don't want to like clog up anything because some of this rolls in together. So, again, just back to the administrative piece is that the importance of understanding what's happening in the month and quickly looking at how this is going to impact your team. And you guys, this is how, I know we call ourselves accidental business owners, but take that front part off because you're here on purpose. Okay. You might've started out as accidental, but you're on purpose now. We don't have to say that anymore. We can start that way, but as soon as we recognized that it was that way and we showed up anyway, we became purposeful business owners. And so we get to work reports and look at things like that. And what a blessing that we have those reports, that we get to see these patterns, that we have, people in our corporate office that will run deeper level reports for us. So getting really good about those incentives and showing up to team leadership in a way that is a little bit more methodical and organized will allow you to feel like prepared, together, excited. And then as you go through the month, you're knowing how to follow up with these people, right? They wanted to go gold, right? It's like the 10th, you haven't seen them doing anything. So you're like, hey babe, I didn't notice that anything was happening. I feel like it's time for us to plan something. Like, what sounds good to you? Like, be in the weeds with these people and always be believing that they want to be successful. Until they tell you that they don't want to be successful, you go on the premise that they do, and you approach them and interact with them in that exact same way. You are not a mind reader. Okay. You're not, if you are, you're not good at it. Okay. Because nobody's really good at it because we never know what's going on. I'm just telling you, I tried to be a mind reader forever and I thought I knew what everybody's was going on with everybody's business. I know what's going on. I know what's going on. Oh, this is what was going on with her. I could go back in time, but we don't go into the past. But if I could go into the past, I would slap that person who believed that she knew everything that was going on with people. my relationships changed. I got more successful. My bonds with my leaders got better when I believed the best first, because it really was never exactly what my crazy brain conjured up and created this reality of what was going on with that person. I let them tell me what was going on. And about 99% of the time, I was wrong. Okay. Compassion for wanting to know all the things, right? Compassion for being that person. And we get to show up to these people and let them tell us, let them have the burden of telling us if they're not interested anymore. But we're here to love and serve, right? Okay. I love you guys so much. Thanks for sharing your lunch hour with me. And we will see you next Tuesday. Bye.